Hi, welcome to Phantastic Feast. I'm your host, Thuy Phan. Today we're going to make a very simple dish that is an easy weeknight dinner. It's baked salmon spring rolls, or most people know it as summer rolls, but it's a Vietnamese rice paper, baked salmon, super simple, and it's a sauce that's kind of semi-homemade, but it's an easy way to have a quick dinner that is really healthy, that is a riff on the traditional pork and shrimp spring rolls, but with salmon. We'll also show you how to make coconut cupcakes, which is one of my favorites. So this is something really easy, as is most of the things that I like to make. Actually, my roommate came up with this dish, and we've kind of just done a little bit of tweaking here and there to a recipe that we really like, and it's something that I eat almost once a week because it's so easy. So without further ado, we will get started. What you will need is a salmon fillet. You can buy this anywhere, obviously. This will feed easily 2 people, but 3 people that aren't super hungry. But a salmon fillet, and that's already done at the butcher or at the seafood counter, so you don't have to worry about deboning and scaling and so forth. You also need a ton of garlic. I notice there's always garlic in almost every savory recipe that I make because I love garlic. You also need some scallions, some shallots, also some lime and lemongrass for the sauce. And when I said the sauce is kind of semi-homemade, it's because I cheat a little and I buy this mắm nêm, and this is a very acquired taste. If you are Vietnamese or Asian, this is something that you've probably grown up with, and it's a very pungent, fishy smell. But for those of you who are not too familiar with it, you can also buy the peanut sauce, which is probably more easy to eat. But I like the salty, sweet flavor of this, and then when you add lemongrass and lime, it just punches up the flavor, and it's a really good addition. So let's get started. I have the salmon fillet, and what I like to do is take a baking tray, lined it with foil, but then I also get some more foil. My fishy. And what I'll do now is I'll cut up the scallions. And this is 2 bunches of scallions because I find that when you do a lot of scallions and you bake it, it's really adds a lot of flavor to the dish. We'll turn the oven on to 375, get it heated so that when we are done prepping the salmon, we can just pop it in and then wait for it to be done. So I went ahead and I pre-chopped the garlic just to make life a little bit easier, but because I love garlic, I did like 20 cloves, but you don't have to use that much, obviously. So this is kind of the trifecta of shallots, scallions, and garlic, and it does a lot to add a lot of flavor to the salmon. So it's a really simple flavoring, just salt and pepper and some olive oil, and then I layer all of this on top, wrap it up, and bake it for about 30 minutes, and then it comes out and the salmon's really tender and flaky, and then you use that to roll the rolls, and it's really a great dinner option. So we just want to do a little bit of salt and pepper on both sides. A little salt as well. We have olive oil. And then we'll flip this over, and I'll put this on the foil. You've done the salt, pepper, and olive oil. Now I just add garlic and shallots and scallions. Just add it to the top. It's layered with some garlic, some shallots, and some scallions, salt and pepper, and olive oil. Super easy. I probably prepared that in under 10 minutes. So after that, you just wrap it up. So you wrap it up like a present, and then you just put it in the oven for about 30 to 40 minutes until it's cooked, and then you take it out, and then we start rolling. So now Now that we have the salmon in the oven, next what we can do is start preparing the sauce, which is also super simple. In this time you can also wash your vegetables and start cutting it and so forth. I already did it because I figured everybody knows how to wash vegetables and prepare it, but that's a big part of this dish because it's so vegetable heavy and it's so refreshing. It's really healthy because you actually trick yourself into eating a lot of lettuce, cucumbers, and fresh mints and so forth, that it's super healthy, and you don't think about the fact that you're pretty much eating a salad inside a rice paper roll. But let me just show you what I've done here. What we use is red leaf lettuce, but it doesn't have to be red leaf lettuce. You can do butter lettuce, you can do romaine lettuce, depending on what you like. I like how soft and crinkly it is, and it looks nice in there. This is called tito in Vietnamese, but I have no idea what it's called in English. But you can buy this at all the Asian supermarkets. There's always an assortment of herbs that you can pick and choose depending on what your preference is. I also have Persian cucumbers that I've cut up into like long strands. These cuts make it easier for you when you're rolling it because they're long and skinny. And I also have some mint from the backyard, organic fresh mint. So this is what I'll be using to roll this baked salmon roll. So during this time when we're waiting for the salmon, it's a good idea to get this done so you can get everything pretty much done within 30-40 minute time interval. But I'll show you how to make the sauce. It's super easy. You already did the minced garlic and we use that. And then the great thing about Asian supermarkets is they have lemongrass that's already minced and chopped in the frozen section, and that makes life a lot easier as well. You can always, of course, do it yourself, but that adds probably about another 10 minutes for you to cut the lemongrass and chop it up really finely. But because this is kind of like a simplified weeknight meal, you can buy it already done and just defrost it so you have it ready to go. And it looks like this, bright green and so forth. Salmon is one of my favorite fishes, so we just thought, hey, how easy would it be if we just bake the salmon and roll it up, and it turned out to be something really good. And it's kind of, I wouldn't say it's so much fusion as it's kind of a more modern take, because I don't think in Vietnam they would ever bake salmon to do gỏi cuốn or this type of rolls, but it actually works really well. Now that we have our juiced limes, our lemongrass, and our garlic, we'll take this over to the stove and make the sauce. Let's get grab my pan. Now I'm about to show you the easiest sauce to go with this, but this is only if you can handle mắm nêm, which a lot of people cannot, but if you are adventurous, you should definitely try it because it just goes really well with the salmon. We have this prepared mắm nêm sauce that's already done, and they pretty much do 90% of the work for you. It's good as is, but I find that this sauce that they sell in the store that's already made, it is super pungent. So if you add like the lime and the lemongrass, if you add the lime and the lemongrass and the garlic, it just it mellows out the flavor a little bit and it makes it a little bit more palatable, more citrusy, so lighter. So I'm gonna turn the heat on. And then from here I add garlic. Then I also add 2 tablespoons of lemongrass and mix it up. By doing this, I allow the garlic to cook a little bit so you're not eating raw garlic, so it's not so strong. Obviously, I use a lot of garlic in this dish, but I just think it goes so well with the salmon. Yeah, I really love garlic, so pretty much everything I cook has as much garlic as I can possibly put in without offending people. But obviously, if you don't like garlic, you can take it out, but I think it adds a nice dimension to it. And then from here, I just add the bottle in. And then you just let it simmer for about a minute or two just so it cooks down a little bit, and that is your sauce. And so you're halfway there already. Just wait for the salmon and then you assemble and roll, and then that's all it is to it. So now we're almost ready to roll. The salmon is just about ready. Our sauce is done. This is one of the neatest inventions that has happened in the past couple of years for any Vietnamese family. You fill this with hot water, and this is what you dip your rice paper in. And do you see how nice and thin it is? When I was growing up, we just used a big bowl of hot water, and when you're eating with your whole family and there's a big bowl of water, it just takes up so much space. So someone came up with this brilliant idea to make it so nice and thin, so then you have more room for other stuff on the table. And this you can get at any Asian supermarkets, fairly inexpensive, like $6 or $7. And alongside that, they came up with these plastic thingies to help you roll so that it doesn't stick to your plate. So then everybody can roll and then just have your rice paper on there and just roll straight from there. So these are nifty little inventions. Obviously you don't have to have these, you can just use regular plates, but if you do spring rolls or summer rolls all the time, this is such a good investment, and it makes life a lot easier. I gifted my sister and my mom this once I saw it at the supermarket. I was like, you guys have to have this. It has to be a part of your household. So I'm going to fill this with hot water and then we'll get ready to roll. And there are a lot of different brands for these spring roll wrappers, but for me, they're all the same, but I know some moms and some parents have a specific brand, but this works fine for me. I'll take a few of these, and they have a nice little drawer for you to stick it right in. I'm telling you, brilliant. Okay, so here's our assembly. And I'll show you, all you do is dip this here, swish it around. Okay. It's perfect. Okay. Okay. So actually at this point, to be perfectly honest, the way that I usually serve this is I bring this to the table, I put it on a plate, and then people self-serve and they take as much as they want, and you know, it's all ready to go. However, what we'll do here is I'll roll it here at the station so you can kind of see how you roll the spring roll. Obviously there's no right way, but just so you get an idea, but you do have several options because this is pretty much done. You could bring it to the table and serve it, every man for themselves, and just cut and you know, serve it or cut it as you eat. But I'll roll this now so you have an idea of how to roll a spring roll. But the spring roll takes literally just like a couple seconds to soften up once you've dipped it in the water. Let me get a knife and a fork so I can scoop it. There is no rhyme or reason on how you can do this, but I've been rolling this as a child and adult, and for some reason I'm still not very standardized in the way that I roll it, but it's okay because as long as it gets into your mouth, you're totally fine. I like to do the lettuce first actually, so it creates kind of a barrier. So basically how you do this is you layer lettuce first, my preference actually, lettuce first, some herbs, mint. I think when I was growing up I was not very good at the different flavors and so forth, so I couldn't really enjoy the mints, but as I got older, you know, it adds so much flavor to the dish, and now when I eat this without the mints and so forth, it feels weird because it adds a different dimension to it. But just add your salmon on top. Some people like to add peanuts to this. That's an option as well. Some people like vermicelli. That adds a little bit more sustenance to this because you know, the rice noodles makes it a little bit more hearty, but I sometimes like this because it's a low carb option. So it depends on what you like. Some people also add plantains and different herbs. And the way I like to do is you fold over once first, fold in the corners, keep rolling. There we go. And this is our baked salmon roll. Now that the salmon rolls are rolled, all we have left to do is pour the sauce into cups and then eat it and enjoy it. So let's do that. Now for the best part, actually eating what you spent your time on. So bon appetit to me. If I had friends, they'd be here to help me eat, but as it is, it's just me. Okay, here we go. Really good. It's perfect. Really healthy. Salmon, veggies, nothing's fried. And you have your really flavorful sauce as well. So it's a nice light lunch or a nice easy dinner.